Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Instagram Live. So, I am your moderator, Onyinye, the Growth Product Manager here at FriendnPal, and I'm super excited to be hosting this conversation today. And we've got an amazing topic lined up for you and three incredible guests who will be sharing their insights and expertise. So, we will be beginning the session properly. Okay, so before we dive into our topic for today and basically address the questions or concerns that you might have, I will just be giving a quick introduction to what we do here at Friend and Pal. So, Friend and Pal is a mental health support organization that is empowering individuals in Africa to prioritize their emotional well being. We also provide accessible, cultural sensitive, and personalized support through our mobile app, which is very much available on Play Store and the Apple Store. So it's also we also provide local resources, carry out outreaches just to ensure we are able to impact the life of individuals here in Africa. And our goal is to majorly bridge the gap in the mental health space and also to promote emotional well-being of every individual here at Friend and Pal. So I don't know whether you are super excited to be here today because me, I am very excited because the month that we just rounded up is tagged as the Disability Month. And in our topic today, we will be discussing that disability is not necessarily a disability in your life, but it's an avenue for a positivity in your life. As we are waiting for some of our guests to arrive, I will just quickly give another overview of what we do here and Friend and Pal. So basically, we are all for mental health well-being. We preach the gospel of mental health. We want to um, break down the stigmatization of mental health here in Africa because anytime someone is said to have a mental health issue here in Africa, the person becomes stigmatized or is looked at in a particular way. So one of the agenda of what we do here in Friend and Pal is to break that stigma to ensure that everyone here in Africa has access to a mental wellness package. So that's all we will be discussing for today. So before we begin properly, I will just for today I'll be introducing the topic we have for today for the session, and it's embracing your uniqueness, which is basically disability to possibility. And our guest today, Jessica, who is a mental health counselor here at Friend and Pal. We will also be having two other guests as we're waiting in for them. Basically, they'll be sharing their perspective, experiences, and also answering your questions. So, yes, Jessica, let's welcome you. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your work in the
Okay,
mental health
my
space?
hello everybody. My name is Jessica Sonda and I'm a mental health counselor here at Friend and Pal. I have a master's in rehabilitation counseling from California State University. I may not have reached my goals in the way society expected, and it may have taken me longer, but I have created my own path.
Very much, Jessica. Can you provide us with your journey so far in the process? Just a short description of your journey.
Sure. I was born I was born 3 months premature and was diagnosed with cerebral palsy. My education would be a series of advocacy battles, from securing extra time for exams, using assistive technology, to ensuring I had the right support. I've had to promote myself in schools where I was the only student with a disability. My efforts weren't just for me. They helped pave the way for future students with disabilities to receive the education they deserved. It's been a journey of breaking barriers and creating paths for others to follow.
Okay, Thank you very much. So I think we would begin the session with asking you a question. So basically, as a counselor with a disability, how has your personal experience been? I know you gave us a little bit back story about your life, and tell us how it has influenced your approach to counseling and supporting others.
My personal experience has deeply influenced my approach to counseling. It has allowed me to connect with clients on a more profound level, offering support rooted in lived experience. I found that sharing my story often helps to build trust and rapport, as clients see me not just as a counselor, but as someone who truly understands the complexities of living with a disability. My experience has taught me the importance of resilience and adaptability, which are key qualities I try to foster in my clients, having navigated the system myself. My approach is one of collaborative empowerment, where I work alongside my clients to help them rediscover their strengths and redefine their potential. My disability has enhanced my ability to support and empower others in their rehabilitation journey. Our greatest challenges can become our most powerful assets.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. It was very much insightful. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay, hi, good afternoon. So, everyone, I would love to introduce Preeti, who is a certified ADHA practitioner. So, yes, the second question for the session would be for you. So, I would love to know in your words, what does disability mean? Can you discuss the importance of the destigmatizing disabilities and promoting acceptance and understanding? So, in your own words, basically, what does disability mean?
So, disability is anything that can prevent a person from functioning in the traditional way that everybody knows. Now, there are different kinds of disabilities. There is intellectual disability, there is physical disability, there is sensory disability. There are different kinds of disabilities. Now, when it comes to disability, a lot of persons who have it, it may show like it's really visible. People see it as they see this person. But for some people who have disability, people are not able to notice it right away. So it could just be, for example, like ADHD. Oh, someone who has ADHD, that is a disability, right? Someone who has autism, it's a disability. Blindness is a disability. Now, for blindness, a lot of persons would notice. For cerebral palsy, a lot of persons could notice.
Once again, apologies for the network disability, but yes, in all, every single disability that we might have or we might face are still an avenue to showcase the possibility of what we can achieve. So yes, thank you very much and welcome, Adenike. It's nice to have you here. She is the special education and needs coach. So yes, thank you very much for being here. So I would love to give the second question to you also. I'm sure Preeti was trying to state out some points when she was listing out what disability is and the different types of disability. So in your own words, can you also describe what disability is and the importance of destigmatizing disabilities and promoting acceptance and understanding, especially here in Africa? Okay, I think Adenike just joined in. Hey, good afternoon, Adenike. Are you on the call? Okay, I think our network is having a disability too. Okay, Prissy, I know that you were trying to give us some points on that and also trying to explain different types of disabilities and how to respond to those different kinds of disability. Because being blind is a disability, but it's kind of like physical and visible. But disabilities like EDHA are inherent. You can't basically see them. So, what would you say as the importance of stigmatizing these disabilities and promoting acceptance and understanding, especially here in Africa?
So when it comes to destigmatizing this any kind of disability, it's super important for awareness to be created. If people don't know what a person is going through, it will be hard for them to empathize. So destigmatizing disability is super important because it is what will help people with disability feel included in the society, and also providing like awareness. I think I mentioned that earlier. Awareness is super important. Awareness at schools, awareness at hospitals, awareness in various places is very important. The society has a huge role to play. So when you see someone with disability, one super important thing, don't stare. Stop staring. They are humans. Just do your
Exactly.
normal whatever that you are doing, because that stare could make that person feel uncomfortable. So it's very important to not keep staring at the person. Just see them as regular people. And one more thing, it's very important to see the person first before their disability. It's called the person first approach. For example, when you see someone with like who is blind, for example, you could say the the person is blind, not blind person. Because when you say blind person, you are referring to the disability first before the person, right? So instead of saying blind person, the person is blind. The person first approach is very important. That's just one example. There are several other examples, but time may not allow me to share a lot. But I just wanted to raise that point of referring to the person first before their disability. Makes them feel included and makes them feel as a whole person first, and not you describing them by their disability.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Pretty. Because I think even that particular instance happened in the Bible where Bartimaeus, we know him as the blind Bartimaeus. So his disability was seen first before who he is. So one way to create awareness would be to first of all look at the person, don't stare and look at any disabilities. And I think with these points you've raised, we would be on a good track. Yes, we would be on a good track. Thank you very much. So, the next question is for you. What resources would you say or support networks do you recommend for individuals with ADHA or any other disabilities that are seeking guidance and assistance?
So for people living with ADHD and any other kind of disability, support network is very important. For example, I work with parents of children with autism. I have a workshop where I train these parents on how to um, deal with their kids, on how to be able to manage their kids and help their kids to be able to live normal, fulfilling lives, right? That is a community that I have created for parents of children with autism. Now, that is the only one I know. I know that for autism as well, and ADHD, then dyslexia, there is Condo Life Foundation for children with special needs. They train, they support, and they reward parents for taking care of their children with any of these disabilities. I see a lot of foundations online. ROBM Foundation, that is for autism. I think there is another one. I don't remember the name exactly, but I know it's Solape Azazi, that is heading that particular support network. So there are several ones. I still don't know a lot, and I look forward to knowing much more about these support networks for people with disability. And that is one reason why when you reached out to me about your friend pal, I was super excited because therapy is very expensive for people with mental health disability, like maybe schizophrenia or any other mental health disability. They don't have the support that they need. So when I saw that therapy is just on your phone, you just have to reach out, like I was elated. I was like, ooh, this is a great idea. So I just want to say thank you for doing that. That is super, super great because therapy is expensive. And people have not even been able to have food to eat and then they pay for therapy. And then when you said some people can get it for free, like, ooh, that is great. So thank you for introducing that.
Thank you very much. Yes, thank you. Thank you. We are excited that you are excited to have such opportunity and have such a thing exist. Like you mentioned, it's expensive. And not only are we trying to block or close the gap of the how financially expensive it is to have access to quality mental wellness, but we also want to make sure that every single person here in Africa is aware that there is something called mental illnesses or mental well-being. So yes, thank you very much. So please, Adenike, can you confirm you can hear me now?
Yes, I can. Okay. Yes, I can.
Oh,
Can you
thank
hear me?
you. Thank you very much. Okay. Yes, I can hear you.
All right.
Okay, so basically the next question would be for you, Adenike. So I would love to know what are the common challenges individuals with disability face, and how can we better support them as individuals and as community here in Africa?
All right. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm so grateful. Disability is one a major concern in Africa, or let me say worldwide anyway. Okay, so according to WHO, we are made to understand the estimation of population of people with disability. Excuse me. Okay, so we have like 1 billion people estimated to have disability worldwide, and then maybe in low middle country like Nigeria, we have like 80%, okay, of people with disability, and then this is very alarming. It's a serious concern, and then looking at the way the society is, government, individuals, and how there is no special support or assistance as it is for them. So this poses a lot of challenges to them. For example, one major challenge is societal perception about people with special needs. Their view is um, they have negative views about them. They see them as objects of pity. They see them as people that just need to be given a kind of charity to, assist. They are not people they see with ability. They see them as the name implies, disability, so they have no ability. And this has really posed a lot of problem to them. They can't even bring out the ability they have. They've forgotten that these people are just set of people with another, that the chemistry of their brain is just wired in another way. They are not people that they can't, they're also people, they are individuals like us, but just that they have another way of wiring. And then so people don't really have a positive understanding about them. So that is one major challenge, and that has actually affected the individual's perception about themselves as well. Okay, because this stereotypical society, the stereotype in the society has posed a lot of, low self-esteem about themselves. They see themselves as someone that should totally depend all through their life, you know. And then moving forward from that, we have structural challenge, inaccessibility to a lot of places in the society. You want to go to bank, especially those with physical challenge, you can't go in with your wheelchair. There is no ramps in buildings, even in religious organizations. a lot of places. So they are restricted. They cannot just move around. They cannot just access wherever they want to go. They really, really need to depend on people. And this is serious. Okay, so discrimination, the segregation. And now that we are preaching inclusive education or inclusivity, a lot of things have not been put in place for us to really have this inclusiveness and all that. So we have inadequate assistive devices. For example, if you're talking about inclusive education in class, for a child with special needs, if we really want to bring about this inclusion, there must be enough learning materials, audiovisual aids, visual aids, enough accommodations, curriculum that can accommodate them, trained personnel, both material and human resources, they are not available. And then so their education aspect is really, really challenging. We can't really say they have quality one. And then we know what education is to individuals' life. So that is another major challenge that persons with disability have. But we talk about job opportunity, because of the segregation and all that, they just assume that, okay, persons with disability should just be given maybe um, some menial jobs to do, maybe just help to clean cars, help people to wash their clothes. But the truth is they have bank of abilities inside of them that we really need to concentrate on. But people are just looking at their weakness or the challenge they have. So, but society needs to bring out those abilities in them. A lot of people with ability can be in the tech, okay? They can be in the media, the art, a lot of places that they can actually be. But, the perception, that society have about them is totally wrong. So it affects their employment. And then they are not given. So we have a lot. We have a lot. I don't really want to take our time, but I think I've been able to mention few of those challenges that they have. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. You were able to buttress the challenges. And yes, once it's one thing to be able to know that these are challenges, and it's another thing to put in things in place to ensure that this would no longer be a challenge to persons with disability. Even though in our topic today, every disability is an avenue for a possibility. So I would just love to ask Jessica, are you on the call?
Yes, I'm here. Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Okay, so yes, I yes, yes I can. Yes, I can.
Okay.
Okay, so I have a question for you. So, what misconceptions about disability do you often encounter as a person who was diagnosed of cerebral palsy and is still a mental health counselor? So, what are the misconceptions about disabilities that you encounter, and how do you address them in your practice?
Okay, so in my practice, I often encounter misconceptions about disability, such as the belief that individuals with disabilities are unable to lead productive lives and that disability is always visible, disregarding the challenges faced by those with invisible disabilities. Another misconception is that all individuals with a disability experience it in the same way. To address these misconceptions, I emphasize that each person's experience is unique. By fostering an environment of understanding and respect, I aim to make my clients feel seen, heard, and understood. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Just being an avenue for positivity. So yes, Pretty, can you give us your take on this? What are the misconceptions about disability that you have encountered, and how do you address them in your practice?
So I'm going to talk based on my practice as a therapist who work with people with ADHD and autism. Now, these people, they face struggles every day. Now, a common misconception is that what they feel is not real, they are faking it. That is very wrong. So, a lot of my clients that I work with, they always have issues where people say that whatever struggles that they are going through is something they have 100% control over. Now, everyone with disability, like Jessica said, is unique. A person might have ADHD, another person also have ADHD, but they don't have the same struggles. Because ADHD, for example, is has different types. There is combined presentation, there is inattentive, there is hyperactive impulsive. And then if you also think about other comorbidities that could be present, like if someone with ADHD have autism, their their outlook on life is going to be different. If someone with ADHD have OCD, for example, now it's a common um, 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 thought that people with ADHD they are really messy. Now, if someone with ADHD have OCD, you will hardly find that that person is messy because that person will make sure it's all arranged. Like if that is a an obsession the person has, their house is going to look very clean. So that misconception that everybody's experience is the same has to stop because everyone's experience is unique, and it's super important to validate what people feel. Validate them. Don't invalidate people's feelings. When you invalidate people's feelings, they feel like they are not seen and they are not heard. So if we also think about employment, for example, there is a misconception that if you employ someone with disability, they are not going to do the job right. That is wrong. People with disabilities have abilities. They have hidden abilities. You just have to find the strength. And to everyone who has a disability, focus on what you can do. Don't focus on what you cannot do. There is no perfect person out there. No perfect person out there. So focus on what you can do. So that will help to reduce that misconception that when you apply someone with a disability, they are not going to be able to deliver the job right.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Pretty. I am excited and privileged to be part of this session because everything that is spoken here about the misconceptions and proper ways to address it, especially in your different fields and practices, it has been very much enlightened. So yes, Adenika, I would love your input on this. Based on your line and experience and your practice, what misconceptions about disability have you encountered and how do you basically address them? Hi, Adenike. Is she still with us?
Thank you. All right. One major misconception I've encountered during my interaction, especially with parents during the assessment, is the fact that a lot of them, their feeling is that they brought about this disability, maybe it's as a result of repercussion of what they've done before, or it's a nemesis of what they've done, or it's just one witches and wizard that is, that brought about that on them and all that. Some of them can be so, they can be so bad on themselves and be like, stage, the developmental stage and all that. And probably you're able to point out one or two things that they didn't really, pay attention to. They'll be like, oh my God, is this what is affecting my child? Is it what relates to this and all that? So there's this misconception that, okay, maybe it's it's what they actually did. Of course, we understand that there are a lot of unknown causes of disability, and then we know that there are lots of maybe challenge in the cost of delivery and all that can lead to that. But this major misconception is that, oh, they don't want to know maybe it's chromosomal aberration, or maybe it's one external factor in their child. And I always try to address this. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, and I
Yes, I
always
can.
try to address that, making them to understand that no, this is we are in new age now, so that shouldn't be their mindset. And whatever it is, they move on. The solution how to help your child is what you should think about. Okay, another thing is probably after the assessment and you diagnose the child with maybe a particular condition, you say, oh, your child is diagnosed with autism, and they'll be like, oh my God, what are you saying? Autism, I've been hearing these things and all that. They just believe that their child is, without any ability, will depend on them totally all through their life. Like, oh my God, so is this what I will be doing all my life and all that? So, and that is a misconception, especially children with autism, they have a lot of abilities, like they have it. But because we can't really, a lot of people can't really understand how they communicate, the way they reason, imagine they have a kind of sensory discharge and just screaming. And be like, oh, stop, can you stop crying? I know that try to do a lot of things and that is not working. Like, okay, is this the way you'll be embarrassing me outside? No, I can't take you outside. I can't do this. They just put them inside, thinking this one is just a burden on me. And that is not true. It is just for us to look into them, find out their strength, and then, put them on the lane and make them be the best of who they are. They are just wired in another way. It doesn't mean that they don't have the ability or they are not typical, the way we used to call them, atypical persons and all that. Another thing misconception is the fact that disability is communicable, especially maybe Down syndrome. You'd be like, oh my God, are you saying that this thing will not transfer to my next child?
Hear me, please.
I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Okay, can we still hear Adenike?
No.
Yeah, no.
Okay. Okay. While we wait for her to get back in, so I would just love for our speakers to drop just in, let's say, 5 seconds, a word to every single person that joined this live, because I think Adenike mentioned something that here in Africa, sometimes we attribute the disabilities that are being faced by individuals to probably spiritual things, that something happened in the village, one of your uncles remembered you and all that. So it has been a very enlightening session. So I would just request a word from every of our speakers, starting with Pretty, to every single person that has attended this particular live session. So what is a word of advice that you would give to every single person here today? So I would love to hear that from you.
So everyone who joined this live, thank you so much for joining. This was a super insightful session. Um, I just want to tell you all, if you have a disability or you have a family member, a friend, a loved one with a disability, autism, ADHD, cerebral palsy, Down syndrome, name them. Find the things they can do. Focus on their strength. Focus less on the weakness. What you focus on is what you always think about. If you focus more on their strength, you will think about their strengths more and how to help them to build that strength. But if you focus more on their weaknesses, that is all you are going to see. You're not going to see anything good in that person. So a strength-based perspective is super important. One last thing, look at the person first before their disability. Always use a person first approach. The person comes first before their disability.
Thank you very much, Pretty. I would that would be my take home from today's session. So first of all, look at the person and not necessarily the disability of the person. So yes, Adenike, welcome back. So I would love a word from you to every single person that has had the opportunity to join the session and to be aware that every disability, no matter whether it's physical or inherent, is an avenue for, a lot of possibilities. So what word will you give to every single person joining today's session?
All right, thank you. I want to appreciate everyone that joined the session. So I would say that one major thing that we should know as individuals is that we shouldn't sympathize with people with disability, but rather we should empathize with them. So the sympathy will not help us to bring out the best in them. It will only help us to relegate them, discriminate them, segregate them the more. But when we empathize with them, okay, like that, we are bringing them to know that they are human beings as well. We have abilities and we can work together. So in a situation whereby you have opportunity to work with persons with disability, know that we are all in here together to bring about the social and economic development. So, and I want you to know that whether you have understanding about disability or not, know that everyone, no matter, you have one functional limit, one level of disability, one functional area, whether the sight, whether the cerebral skill, whether they would hear it, there is one level. Trust me, when you go through a lot of assessments, I always try to tell people, can you let us do your own assessment so that we can know that you have one level of disability as well. So that's, if you have that understanding, it will help you to help those with probably the physical disability or obvious disability. Okay, so we're all working together towards inclusivity, equality in the society. So don't sympathize with people with disability.
Okay, thank you very much, Adenike. Jessica, it's incredible what you do as a mental health counselor here at Friend and Pal. With basically with your disability, but you are able to touch lives of every single person that comes across to you, and that is our aim here in Friend and Pal. So you do not need, like, I think Pretty, when she was speaking, tried to emphasize that with how expensive having access to quality therapy can be, especially here in Africa, where mental health is stigmatized and there is little to no knowledge of it, basically, of how accessible resources on mental health can be when you have access to the mobile application that is the Friend and Power application. So if you are if you have a disability, you want to express yourself, you want to have and attain mental wellness, you can very much reach out to anyone within the Friend and Pal space, or you can very much, at the comfort of yourself, at the comfort of your home, just download the app and everything will begin and basically take it up from there for you. So on the application, you have access to communities. In that community, you have to, and very much everything is very much anonymous. So you can share whatever you feel and be free to share your experiences, and advices will be given also. So all these are all the things that are being utilized within the mental health platform that is being created by Friend and Pal. So thank you very much, everyone, for being in attendance today. Our network wanted to have a disability, but we are all about positivity and possibilities here and Friend and Pal. So that's it all for today's Instagram session. And thank you, every single person, for being in attendance. And a wonderful thank you to our guests, Pretty, Adenike, and Jessica, for being available for this session. It was very, very insightful. And I hope that every single person that joined is living with an information to look at a disabled person differently. You first of all look at them for who they are and not necessarily their disabilities. And thank you all for tuning in and participating in the conversation. And do not forget to follow us for more live sessions and more tips to attain your mental wellness. And then if you really need a pal at the comfort of your zone, at the comfort of your home, in your office, anywhere, and you just want to basically discuss, you can very much download the Friend of Power mobile application that is available on Play Store and Apple Store. So yes, thank you very much, everyone, and do have a wonderful day, a wonderful evening, a wonderful morning, or a wonderful night, wherever you're joining us from. So yes, thank you, everyone, and do have a nice day.
You too. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.